Oh, here he is, guys. Ooh, everyone give him a round of applause for being late.
No, I was on time. It's just when I was like, oh crap, I ain't got my photos together, like obviously to show, to like progression and stuff like that.
But
So
is that not like saying to your boss, I weren't late, I was on time, I just didn't start the engine to the car to get me to work?
sorry, I didn't mean to. Thank you, Nat.
How are you, Arby? All right.
I'm nervous.
Why?
I don't know. I can't even remember the last time I was nervous to come on live.
Well, at least you're on with a legend like me who has got an
Exactly.
awesome wife. And you've got the king on, so that makes it even easier. You alright?
Yeah.
You
It's
look
good that you got your account back as well. I just wanted to say.
Oh yeah, I'm still banned for a week on some things, but that's only because they haven't received my emails yet.
Ah, right. Okay.
Don't mean it. So, Arby, if you can turn your comments off, if they aren't already, and then anyone,
How do I do that?
you click the three dots at bottom,
Yeah.
and then go to admin settings,
Oh yeah.
comment settings, and then just turn comments off. And then anyone that's on Arby's live, if you've got any questions, you can come over to my side, and you can ask them, fire away. And if anyone comes in your side, Arby, you can just stop at any time and just say, my comments are off, jump over, because we obviously are here to ask you questions and you're here to tell the story of your, how old are you?
22.
22. So you're here to tell us of the life of a 22-year-old that's still yet a baby.
Bloody hell. Have you zoomed in on your camera?
Yeah. How good looking am I?
You just got better, mate.
Or am I just a giant?
Literally all I can see is your head.
Are you with? Are you on your own?
Nah, Ellie's downstairs.
Ellie. So Ellie's his girlfriend. Arby, thank you for yesterday to see me. Did you enjoy? That's Charvek.
That's Michael. That's Shell's friend's son.
All right, guys, share the live. Tap the screen. Let's get a few people in, and we'll make a start right now. So, Arby, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'll clear up a few questions as well. So my real name isn't Arby. It's an anagram, I guess. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
So my last name is Bray, so Bray, and then Arby is just Bray muddled up. That's where the name Arby came from. I'm 22. I'm an artiste, as Ben likes to say. I'm 22. I'm an artist. At this age where I am now, that's basically it. I work every minute of my life. I know I'm rambling on now. I'm so flipping nervous.
You'll just fall into it soon enough. So, what do you do for work
Yeah.
at the minute, Arby?
So I used to be a self-employed builder. So I used to have my own building company, doing home renovations, painting, decorating, plastering, tiling, anything you could think of, I could do. And then when coronavirus hit, the work started drying up. So then I had to go find another job to pay like my bills, like you have to. And so I just took the first job I could, and that was working at a hotel. I do the maintenance in the hotel that I work in.
Pays the bills,
Job's a job.
and it's cushy. I've seen you working. You're on your phone all day.
Oh yeah, that don't remind me of anyone in particular.
Darren. Darren's very much like that. Very much like that. But, hey, it is what it is, isn't it? We have to. So, anyway, we'll make a start properly now, Abby. So, talk us about like your early days? Like, what's your earliest memory?
My earliest memory. I don't know. To sum up like the entirety of like my personality, my earliest memory, I'll never forget it really, but I was in primary school, and obviously I'm going to say this so then it sets me up for like the whole discussion. This is where like my personality came through. So I remember there was this kid. What was his name? Byron, I think his name was. Obviously at this point, I didn't know I had anything wrong with me. But he got diagnosed with autism. He had some other stuff, but I don't know what it is. But he was getting bullied by like the popular people in primary school, however how that works. And I just remember like he had no one to sit next to and stuff. And then I just used to sit next to him. And then we became really, really, really good friends. And then he left. But in the terms of Byron, so when I mean he had no friends because he was being bullied, like literally, like we go into the cafeteria and he'd be sat on his own after school club because his mum used to work late at night because she was a healthcare worker. I used to literally, because I used to live like 3 or 4 minutes away from the school anyway. And in year 6, I was 6 foot tall. So like I've been this height that I am basically since school, primary school. So I was always a big kid anyway. So my mum, like, I don't know, just let me walk home on my own like they would back in them days. Like, well, I say them days as if it was time and time ago, but like
A week ago.
it just wasn't really like. But it wasn't like it didn't come into any of our minds that like where I lived, there was like a big community, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
There wasn't like everyone knew everyone anyway. But yeah, I used to stay with this fella after school, and I like, yeah, that just sums up the personality that I was trying to indulge in. That like my earliest memory was just like looking out for people, you know.
Yeah. Just a couple of quick questions for you. How old was you when you started to draw?
When I started to draw, 22.
So you started drawing during lockdown, didn't you?
Yeah, I started drawing November the 14th, with pencil and paper, and then I started like developing my skills and like realizing what I wanted to draw and how I like to draw it. And then January the 10th, I think it was, I bought an iPad, and then I started drawing on my iPad.
Cool. What's your biggest win in life so far? These are just early questions. We'll get them in.
My biggest win in life so far, without sounding cringe, probably Ellie.
I knew you'd say that because you.
She's not here though, so like her head can't.
Yeah, but she's watching downstairs. So he's 22-year-old. What's your dream for when you're older?
I want to be a tattoo artist.
Who's just been muted?
That is the only objective, to be a tattoo artist.
How's that going? Because you did you get offered an apprenticeship?
Oh yeah, Ben, we shouldn't talk about that.
Okay.
We should talk about that.
Cool. Okay then. For a different time, I take it. No worries.
Yeah.
And how old was you when you got told you had ASD?
20.
What does ASD stand for?
Oh no. Oh no.
I don't know because someone's just asked how old we are ASD. Sarah's going to tell us anyway because she's in comments.
I'm pretty sure ASD was Asperger's syndrome, which I don't think is called anymore, and now it's called autism.
Yeah, basically just autism, isn't it? It's all under one bracket now, isn't it? Out of all the
Can I just say, before anyone says anything about this, I've learned everything I know from Sarah, because I was clueless, and obviously, like Ben said in his promo video, that like I didn't know who I was or what I was or anything about it, and basically the people on TikTok and Sarah, it's all.
I'm just writing down these questions as they come through, so I can ask them at the relevant moment, at the relevant. Out of all the things you could have done in lockdown, why did you choose drawing?
Oh, this is actually a very good question. So, um, in last August, my nan went in for major heart surgery. Um, so I basically couldn't stay here because I was I was trying to find a job. So because I got made redundant in when did I get made redundant? I
Okay.
got made redundant at the start of August. So I worked somewhere. Then when I got put on furlough, that's when I made my own company. Obviously, pay the bills, blah 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 blah. And then I got made redundant. And then my nan had major heart surgery, and she had to self isolate for 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after. And then when would that have taken it? It would have taken it to about September. And then I basically had a falling out with a few people in my life, and I stayed over this person's house. And one day she was getting bullied because she. Oh no, I don't want to offend anybody when I say this because I don't actually know about it. I'm pretty sure it's bisexual, right? Where you like men. Yeah. She's bisexual, right? And she was getting bullied because they were calling her a lesbian and like taking the mick out of her. So she was sat there on this table in my mate's house. It was his sister, but we've been friends since like forever. Because they used to live like by my house when I was growing up, and then I just remember sat there and she was there crying and stuff, and then I went over and sat by her. I was like, "Come on," like me being my chirpy little self, like, oh, "Come on, Rose, tell me what's wrong. Come on." And then she told me, and then she was drawing because she's an artist. She is absolutely fantastic, this girl, right? And she was like, "Why didn't you draw with me?" And then I literally picked up the pencil and I haven't put it down since. Since that day, there's not been one day where I haven't drew something.
Wow.
You know?
So it's gone on from that again. It's gone from your caring self again, going helping somebody else, and it's brought out
Yeah.
yourself on it. So right. So we've got some questions for later on. I'll add that to questions later. So once this boy had left from school, how did you find the rest of your school days, like at primary school?
No. So basically, what happened was in primary school, the guy obviously we went to secondary school and he went to a different school. He
Ah,
went to that when we left primary school. Come in there. When he left primary school, that's when how do I put it? I don't think they took his needs properly, if you know what I mean.
yeah.
As in, when he went to secondary school, that's when he got the help that he needed. So he went to like a specially advanced school for people with like the issues that he had. I'm putting issues in quotation. But basically, I used to be, I used to be like one of the popular people in school. You know what I mean? Like in primary school and in secondary school, really. Um, but like again, when that happened, I like threw it all away for this one person because I just felt like the people at school, like kids are nasty, man. Sometimes, like there's no way of putting about it. Like it's not until they grow up and get maturity that they understand how things work. So basically, they all stopped talking to me, and then like didn't really make my primary school life nice because associated myself with somebody else, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That's what happens, though, innit? People then they
Definitely.
go against you because you've gone to someone that's unpopular rather than bringing that person to make them feel good. They just get rid of somebody else. And
with me, like, it's just like a reoccurring theme. Like, I'm like, when it comes to TikTok as well and stuff like that, like, it doesn't matter how progressed in life people are, or how many followers they got, or how many friends they got, or how popular they are. If I want to be friends with someone, I'll be friends with them, like, no matter what, or the destruction it is, if you know what I mean, like, in quotation again, like, I don't know, I just care for people, you know? It's just...
That's it. Spooky Lou, we love you too. So, obviously, you've gone then to high school then, and you've lost the one person that you became friends with for primary school. How did you find high school?
This is where it starts to get very, what's the word? It starts to get very,
dark,
personal, because in high school, that's when my mum started getting very ill.
Yeah.
Hold on a second, Ben, sorry. Wash it. My mum started getting very ill, and basically I became, not necessarily, no, I'm not gonna lie, I was a naughty kid, you know, just like most of us are when we're at that age, when we're young. But I think mine was brought on by one, not knowing why I had an excessive amount of anger, and two, my mum's had 5 strokes, like 5 bleeds on the brain, and like, I remember in secondary school they used to take the mick out of her for being in a wheelchair and stuff, and this was just like a rocket, like, ready to well, not like a missile ready to explode. Just all these things like building up and building up and building up. And I just remember one time, well, I can't remember what exactly went down, but I didn't get excluded, but it caused a meeting between my entire family. So, like, my dad's side, my mum's side of the family, like, my mum and dad's side of the family don't really get on. But this one person in school, like, made fun of my mum, and basically I didn't want to go to school, so I literally never went. Like, I literally didn't turn up for like 2 weeks. My mum was there trying to force me to go to school, and I was like, I'm not going to school.
Yeah.
And then anyway, that when I stopped going to school, like, when I didn't stop going to school, but when I, like, refused. When I eventually went back, that made it worse, because they knew that what they were doing got to me, so they done it even more. And then I remember that I had a counsellor. So I've had counselling since around about year 5, 6, because my mum started getting ill then in year 5 and 6, but not to the extreme that it was in high school. So when I started getting my counsellor, like, I started going to these meetings and stuff, and then they started pinpointing, like, where my anger's coming from, and it's like, this is it, this is it, this is it. And then, like, I always, like, knew in the back of my head, like, that's not where it's coming from. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's upsetting me, but like the thing is, what I done as a kid is I took my frustrations from high school, from my mum, my dad, and like, I used to, like, punch holes in the, like, brick walls. I used to smash everything up. I wasn't a good kid, like, at all. But yeah, that's basically what sums up my school situation, because it all bubbles to the surface, if you know what I mean. So like,
Yeah.
it started in primary school, and then throughout the 5 years that I was at high school, that's when it started brewing
Yeah.
and going up and up and up and up and up.
But one of the questions that has been asked is, what are your coping skills? Like, obviously, from that to now, what do you have any certain skills that you've got that help you cope with things?
I'm not just saying this because I'm an artist, but the only thing that will calm me down is drawing.
Yeah.
Like literally, plain simple. There hasn't been anything apart from reading. I do quite a bit of reading now. There hasn't been anything that I have found which helps just as much as art. Like if I, where is it? Like even before I go to bed, right? It's like if my mind's in overdrive, like these aren't good pictures because I close my eyes when I draw when I go to bed. But like, I can't find them now. But it's like things like, so when I draw when I go to bed, I close my eyes because I'm trying to drift off to sleep and like trying to put my mind somewhere else. So as I'm like drawing, I'm like picturing where the thing's going to be, so my mind focuses on that. But it's like rubbish little drawings, just like drawing here. Oh, maybe not that, but like drawing like subtle little eyes and stuff like that. And then like this is what I do a lot as well. If I'm thinking stuff, I'll just write it down. And like, although, oh wait, I can't read that out. Um, no matter what, you keep fighting every day because you're all, you're no. No matter what, you keep fighting every day because you do well, and and your anxiety is getting better. But never lose hope. You're a champion. Like I talk to myself, if you know what I mean. Like that could be. That's what I find is another like coping strategy is the fact that I literally talk to
Yeah.
myself.
Full conversation with yourself.
Yeah, and I do that a lot, like before bed and stuff.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people will ask me, like obviously you took the mick out of me when I said I go to bed at 10 o'clock. Like the reason how I can get this, like everyone asks me, how do you get to sleep so quick? And it's literally because if you lay there and you're like staring at the ceiling or you're just there closing your eyes, like you've got like a million things going around in your head. I'm not just saying this. If you literally write it on paper, it goes onto the paper and leaves your head.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Val's just said that writing your feelings down is a great way to deal with your issues, even when you burn it.
Yeah.
True. What about how do you feel? How do you deal with people that don't understand ADS, autism, ASD, even?
I don't blame them. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. For long periods of my life, I just feel as if I was angry at the world. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like not even just about like stuff like that, just about like everything, just so much prejudice and hate and anger in the world when like there shouldn't be. And the thing is I feel as if like a lot of it stems from parents. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel as if like a lot of the ideology is from parents and like maybe like toxic backgrounds and stuff like that. But like, well, you know yourself, you're a dad. Like you know how to bring your kids up. Sarah's done an amazing job. Like, but not everyone's like you too.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You've got some that are just there.
Yeah. Like, oh yeah, I'm his dad. Like, there's not actual parenting being put into place.
No.
But I don't blame. I don't feel as if you can blame kids, you know, because being someone that was very nasty and not very nice as a younger person, I just feel like no one understood me.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? But I like now I just ignore it. Like I try to ignore it as much as I can, and like a lot of people just don't understand. And the worst thing is people think you're lying. Do you know what I mean? Like, if there was things to lie about, it definitely wouldn't be certain things. You know what I mean? And it's like, I just think it's a bit like ignorance. But I just feel as if like people think they're perfect. Like these people that say you can't have this. Oh no, because Auntie Sister Jackie's brother's little girl, she got it and she can't speak. Ah, right, okay. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like I feel as if everyone's version of certain things is very, very exaggerated.
yeah. A lot of people just assume that it's like anything, really, isn't it? If you get the same illness or the same broken bone as somebody else, you might heal with.
Yeah,
They might take 6 weeks. Everyone is different, but like your children, like when you were saying, like you can't blame kids. Your children are just an extension of yourself. So
yeah,
if you understand, you'll teach your kids to understand, and if you don't teach
yeah,
them to understand, that's because you don't understand, and you don't understand because you're not interested, basically.
exactly. No, I agree. It's ignorance.
So anyway, back to you. So your whole school life was, why am I like this? What happened once you left school?
um. So
Oh,
so before I left school, um, I didn't hang around with anybody. You know, I was the way I like to put it as is like the popular loner, if you know what I mean.
yeah,
So like I knew a lot of people. A lot of people knew me, but I just enjoyed my own company.
yeah,
Whereas when I left school, that's when I started mixing with the wrong crowd. Like I started getting into boxing, like taking it more seriously, and stuff like that. And then people would see my size because obviously back then I didn't look like this. I was like quite a well built kiddie.
yeah,
And I remember I'm not gonna say any names, but like I remember so trying to think of the actual situation so then I can actually give you like facts instead of just broken. But when I went to college, there was a group of people there that didn't have the opportunity to grow up. You know, they came from backgrounds which their parents were alcoholics, their parents were drug addicts. Um, Two of them were born with a heroin addiction. You know, like they had like quite messed up upbringings,
yeah,
and but because they were selling stuff which shouldn't be sold, my immature mind thought, "Oh, this is cool. This is exciting." Um, and then I started like progressing to hang around with them,
yeah,
which then led me to me getting my head kicked in on a curb, being in various amount of fights, just taking the slack from them, you know, because like I was like the how can I put it? So they'd be like, how do I explain this? So they'd be like, oh yeah, yeah, because we'll get this person on you, we'll get that person on you, and then it's always like me, because at that time I thought I was like the strongest person in the world, no one could touch me, I was flipping bulletproof. Um, I would do all the dirty work for them, you know. And then that's when it started getting very, very, very toxic and dark. Because the thing is so when I left school, I moved in with my nan and granddad, um, which was quite bad because I used to live in Oldland Common, which was like it's like a council sort of estate, but not like a rough council estate, if you know what I mean.
yeah,
Whereas the place that I live in now is like quite like rough. Well, it's one of the roughest places in the area that I live in.
yeah,
And the people that I met from college were from this area. So then that's when it started just going downhill. And going into a very, very dark and deep place. Yeah. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I've got so many stories and things in my head which I just want to come out to say, but when I'm trying to explain it to you, my mouth just goes. Bleh, 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 bleh.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So you left school and you got in with a gang, well, into a group, shall we say, of
Yeah,
people that were selling things that they really shouldn't be selling. And
robbing people, anything bad that you can think of. I was basically involved with it because I thought it was the best thing since sliced bread. Basically, you know.
yeah, like
Yeah,
Sarah's just said, yeah, autistic males have a high rate of falling into criminal groups due to vulnerability.
yeah,
But you
no, definitely.
feel that at the time, did you? You just thought it were,
Well, no, because at this time, like 17, 18, 19, I didn't even know. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
So, like, I didn't understand the characteristics of why I was behaving like this or why I thought this was cool. Um, I didn't feel like I was being taken advantage of at that time. Obviously, looking back at it now, I can say like I got into a crowd that I really shouldn't have been in. But at the time, I was like, nah, this is like I don't know how to put it because I don't want to say that like I didn't feel loved by a family, but like I just felt like there was conflict between my mum's side of the family, my dad's side of the family. My mum was in hospital all the time. My dad was working away. It was just me, me, my nan, and my granddad, basically.
yeah. So you wanted to
So
feel part of a family. And
yeah, and I wanted to feel like a connection, and I did with these people that I was hanging around with. Like I felt like I was on top of the world, like because we we used to have like big meetups, as in like one area and another area doing things they shouldn't be doing.
yeah,
Um, but when like I was in that moment, like the adrenaline going through my body and stuff like that, and like just looking around and like I remember one time like I was on the deck, just someone grabbing me by the scruff of my neck and just repeatedly punching me in the face. And one of my friends come over, took him straight off, and then we're there just hitting him together. And you know what I mean? Like at that time, like I felt like, oh yeah, these people would take a bullet for me, man. Like
yeah.
these people would, like they got my back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a false sense of security, isn't it, though?
Definitely,
Because
definitely.
in that sort of line, you only have to do one thing wrong for it all to change, don't you, really?
Mm, mm.
But being in this sort of world that you're in at this time, what's the worst thing that you've had to do? And what's the worst thing that's happened to you?
Um, I'm not thinking. I know that I'm just trying to pluck up the courage to say it. So when I
No one's going to judge you, and you don't have to answer it if you don't want.
no, because I feel as if like this would the reason why I wanted to come on here so much is because out of all the bad things that I did do, I feel as if like I could bring good by it, if you know what I mean. Like if there's anybody out there which here like felt the same way I did or like is getting mixed up with the same stuff, like I don't want them doing it, you know what I mean? But probably the worst thing I've done is so I'll tell you the story, right? So basically, there was a DRUGS house, right? Um, so like we'd sit there, people would come in, buy whatever they needed, and then they'd go. We'd be surrounded by girls all the time, basically, as young people with a bit of money do, you know. Um, and I just remember I was sat there, and like, so the group that I was in, right? Obviously, I didn't know every single member because it was a gang.
Yeah.
Basically, it was
One
it
else,
was a gang.
do they? They're not allowed.
You know. So I remember going to this house and I was sat there on the sofa just like flicking through my phone, smoking drugs and so on and so forth. And I just remember these two girls that came there, and they were the most innocent, loveliest people you would ever meet, you know? And they were getting in to something they really didn't understand. And so basically, these guys tried to sexually assault these these girls, and I just went in absolutely insane.
Protect you were protecting them.
Yeah. I like I grew up with women, if you know what I mean. So I had my sisters, my mum, and sorry.
It's all right. Take a minute. Take your time. You're all right. You don't even have to say it if you don't want.
I just remember, right, these evil people that thought they could get away with anything they wanted, and I just basically the people that tried to do it. I'm not going to go into detail because I'm just going to get very very upset. Um, the people that did it didn't stand up again once it was finished. It was 2-on-1, and they didn't get back up for a while. Whew, give me a second, sorry.
No, all right.
They didn't get back up for a while. So basically, we left. We left this house that we were in. Me and these two girls. You know, I walked them home. Like I remember even seeing the dad of one of the girls, because obviously I walked them home back to their house, right? Because I didn't want anyone from the group seeing them and being like, oh, they were just with so and so. You know what I mean? Because obviously so and so are now bleeding out on the floor. Do you know what I mean? So at this time I was in a state like I was just trying to make sure these people were okay, so on and so forth. And they got home, and obviously I spoke to dad, and I was like, look, like I'm gonna be honest with you. I told him everything, because I feel as if I didn't tell them everything, like they would still try and go into that crowd.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I told dad that.
Beck says she wishes she had a friend like you back in there, and Sarah says she's very proud of you. So no one's, like I say, you're not here to be judged. You're here just to tell. It's real life, simple as that. It's not my story, but I could tell. I know exactly the sort of things that go on, because I grew up myself on a council estate where drugs were rife, crime were rife, and
Yeah.
people died. My best friend died of a drug overdose, and people in them situations and in them circles, they know no boundaries. And
Definitely.
whatever
Definitely.
happens, and it's, if you play with fire, you get burnt.
Yeah, definitely. But so the question was obviously what was the worst thing I done, and what was the worst thing that happened to me, and this all ties into the same story. Um, so basically, what happened was is obviously I told the dad. The dad put an end to it. Basically, like there on the spot. Like he was mad at me. Obviously, I didn't say, oh, I was the big hero, because I didn't feel like it. You know, like I was a part of that. I was it in my head then I was like as bad as they were.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I didn't even say like I've stopped your daughters from being raped. Basically, um, I just said like they're getting in with the wrong crowd. Like I've just found them in the house, drugged up, blah 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 blah, so on and so forth. But I remember that I was walking home from that, and my phone is literally going off and off and off and off. and people asking me where I was, what's wrong, what's happened, blah 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 blah. And I was walking home, obviously, council estates. I was walking across the estate, blah blah blah, and I just remember people coming up behind me, balaclavas on, everything, and I got stabbed just in the side of my stomach on the side, and then I remember going to A&E. That's basically. But so when that happened, they threw a knife in my stomach, right? And then they laid me down on the curb by the side and just kicked me in the back of the head on the curb. I remember my jaw being out. I've got like 3 snap teeth in my like teeth right at the back where the curb had like pushed them out. And I just remember when I was like, I was just so lucky, so unbelievably lucky that it was just like pierced, if you know what I mean. It didn't affect any of my vital organs. It didn't. I was extremely, extremely lucky, and I count my lucky stars because of that, you know. But yeah, I was terrified, man. Like, and this is what I mean by like, these people were supposed to be my friends. The people that done this were supposed to be my friends.
Yeah.
And this is what happened. But I just want to elaborate on that story. So
Can I just
once everything,
so you
yeah,
believe that you're incredibly lucky. Do you believe, and I'm going to ask this because you may or may not, do you believe in God or anything? And if you do you think that's the reason? Do you think the good that you did for them girls was the reason you sort of had your...
like good karma sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is I was brought up religious, so like my family are Catholics. I don't want to offend anybody when I say this, but like I don't believe in I believe in something weird, man. I believe in guardian angels. That's basically what I believe in. Obviously, one of my tattoos, I'm having like a guardian angel put on me. That's just
I
what
thought
I believe in, and I just. What's that?
I thought you already had me tattooed.
But yeah, like I believe in like guardian angels, and I just think that day they were on my side. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Do you think you're influenced by the area that you lived in at any point to join these gangs, or it literally because of the family life that you've sort of had?
I just turn that away. No. Yeah. No. Only because I feel as if like I felt like I didn't have a connection with anybody, and this is why I feel like I fell into TikTok so deep, because I never really felt like obviously with my elves, but I never felt like a connection like really deep. So I sought after that sort of thing, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like the area that I lived in was bad, yeah, but I don't feel as if that provoked me into doing the stuff that I did, you know?
No. So obviously you woke up in A&E with a puncture wound and missing broken teeth. How did your family react to that?
They didn't know.
They didn't know.
I was in there on my own.
Did they know what? Did you have to explain anything once you come out?
No, because this is where it gets really complicated, so you're going to have to stay with me, right? So I was sofa surfing at this point because I knew that I was bad, right? So I didn't want to be here to bring trouble to this house, because obviously at the time I lived with my nan and granddad. So I used to go over one of my friends' houses and basically stay with them. All I remember is waking up and being on my own, you know?
Yeah. 22.
And the thing is I don't know, I guess I just struggled. And there's like so many different like points to it which I can't fully go into, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So it's not just like, how didn't your family find out, if you know what I mean? It was just like, there's a lot of different aspects and different things that went on for nobody to actually know, apart from the people's house that I was staying at, because they were my, what's it called now? So if anything were to happen to me or whatever, like, they would have went to them.
Yeah, they're like your guardian.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically.
Alright.
Yeah.
So, you just said, like, obviously you joined TikTok. What made you join TikTok?
What made me join TikTok, else? It was at the first, before lockdown, and I was uploading them videos saying close the schools, remember? Because I had a video go viral on this account way back, literally like the first, I think it was 2 days before the national lockdown. And basically it was just me in the work van, just shouting down the phone, like, what was it? It wasn't just close. I was going to close the schools, but obviously, like, I don't know. I must have just been like very high rate, and it just got loads of flipping views and stuff like that. But yeah, that was it. And then I watched Lawrence. When was that? That was no, it wasn't. I went off of TikTok at that point. Remember, I made that, and then during the first lockdown, I was just like, nothing to do, just watching random TikTok videos. And then when Lawrence first came up on my FYP, I started making weight loss videos, and then I started making tattoo videos, like obviously of my tattoos that I was getting. And then it wasn't until I started like drawing, and I just uploaded like 2-minute little sketches. You know what I mean? It didn't get any likes or anything or get any views, but I watched the Smithy family, and obviously the three people that I watched in the beginning of TikTok was Roadman Ralph, Lawrence, and the Smithy family. And I remember the Smithy family were getting a lot of hate, and I can't remember what it was. Can you?
No.
What was it? But anyway, I felt bad, so I wanted to like try and cheer Nick up, and I drew him a picture, and he absolutely loved it. Like, he duetted it, and like everything was all gravy. I get loads of messages coming in, and I was like, I'm loving this sense of affection that I'm getting from people. You know, like, as I stated before, like, I didn't feel like I had that, and I started getting it, and then people would like comment on my videos, want me to draw them, and then bigger accounts started coming in, like Shara's Bus Banter, Kirsty Allen and stuff like that started like coming into my lives and watching my lives. AJ Jarrod wanted me to draw him, and then when all that started happening, like, I just thought, mate, I need to throw myself in this. This is like the best thing ever.
Yeah.
You know? Especially going from watching these people to talking to these people. Do you know what I mean? It's a very, very weird and peculiar step which you cannot explain.
I know what you mean. Did you feel you had a father figure at any point, like when you were in the gangland?
My granddad.
Your granddad was your father figure.
Yeah, but I can't. It's a struggle to say, because my dad is the best, like, in my view, like the best dad in the world. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm trying to say though?
Yeah.
Because my dad was working away so much, there wasn't like a staple of male dominance in the house. Do you know what I mean? So my granddad like took that over. Then when was my last? Because obviously I was still doing boxing, but like under the side of this. So I used to do some. I didn't used to fight in a ring. I used to do like underground sort of fighting for money, basically, because I was broke, and this was the only way that I would earn it. So I was doing all of this, and then I met yours truly, and when was it? So we got together in the July, and then in the August, my last fight was in the August.
I was on holiday.
Ellie was on holiday, and the same sort of situation happened. So I went there with a group of people. Like, these weren't the same gang affiliates, whatever. These were like a group of friends that I used to go like to the boxing clubs with and train with and stuff like that. And I remember, I think my fight was like the second to last or something like that. To be honest, I can't really remember because I was knocked the fuck out. But all I remember from that is waking up and no one being there. Then I had to walk home at 4 o'clock in the morning. You know? And like, that was another situation where like I was just left. Do you know what I mean? And now in my head, I get very, very scared about just people leaving out of the blue, just because of this like childhood trauma that I'm talking about leaving, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So like, again, when I'm talking about leaving, like, although it wasn't their fault, like my dad was working away all the time, so he'd always be leaving. My mum was always in hospital, so she would always leave. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I didn't have like that like structure or like base or foundation.
Yeah. How long have you been with Ellie?
3 years next month.
And do you feel that she saved you as well?
I tell her that all the time. I tell her that all the time.
Will you marry her?
If it weren't for Ellie, I don't even know where I'd be. Well, that's a question for another day.
What did you say?
We're not asking if you have to marry her. You've been asked, would you be prepared to marry her one day?
Yeah, I would marry her.
Well, get down.
I'd love her to be the... Get down to one knee then.
So,
tell him one.
what about... You've virtually come out of gangland.
Yeah.
How did you just get out of it? Because... Sarah, I've got...
It's very difficult.
How'd you get out? Yeah, because it's normally the only way out is blood.
Yeah, basically. So, obviously, after that, what happened? There were still many, many like battles or fights that went on. I wasn't a part of it, but they kept on trying to... how can I explain it?
Get you involved.
Not get me involved. They tried to punish me for not wanting to be involved. At that point, I was taking my fighting very, very seriously. And the people that were doing this could only fight with weapons. But every time it happened, like I stood my ground, you know. The thing is like, in life, there's just one thing, and I just feel like you can't be scared. You just got to fucking just go at it. Because the thing is when you're in these types of situations, it's not like you can just go to the police. You know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just go to the police.
Done this person's done that. You just can't do that.
No. So it was just literally like, to be honest, I think they started, instead of trying to punish me, I feel as if there was like an element of like respect that like I didn't just give up. Do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't just like, you know what, I'm just going to take my beating and just whatever, you know? I just remembered, like, I even remember going to college, like, if I died today, I died today, do you know? Like, that sort of mindset. Never did. And it was just constant for ages and ages and ages, and then it just died down, you know? There wasn't anyone that I went to or anything, but what I did do is I stopped going to my counselling sessions as regular. So I started like going less regularly. But after all this, and when it started dying down and stuff, I started seeing my counsellor again. And obviously I've basically, in way more detail, spoke to him about what we've spoke about now. And like, he got to know me on a personal level, and I just remember him saying, I think you're, like, the words he said to me is, I think you're misunderstood. And I just remembered that he put me in for my test, and assessments for autism, and then that's where it went from there. If I'm honest with you, I can't tell you a thing about it. It's not something that I researched because I wanted to know much about it, because I was very, very ashamed. You know what I mean? I was very, very ashamed of having that trait.
Yeah,
And
being
I
classed
felt embarrassed. Say that again.
like you were like embarrassed of being different and ashamed of it because you didn't understand
Yeah.
either, which is everybody who doesn't understand. It's naivety, isn't it? Like not caring to understand what others are going out, and like Sarah said, being given a label, because people always say, "Why do you want to give your kids a label?" Well, it's not a label. It's a diagnosis to help them understand and get help they need. So yeah, do you ever think?
But again, I just
Go on.
Sorry.
No, you're all right.
No, I was just going to say, if people are in here and they're struggling to get an adult diagnosis, I'm not the person to ask about, because I was very, very lucky. Again, I went through my counsellor. Well, my counsellor done it for me because of the circumstances. He basically sorted everything for me, so it's not like I had to contact people and this person and that person. It was all done through my counsellor.
And if anyone does ever want any advice, there is someone here called Sarah in my autistic family.
Yeah, Sarah is the best person to talk about any of this.
So I'll go speak to her and she'll help you. Do you ever feel like you might go back into it?
No, not one bit. Not one bit. Not one bit of me. I wake up in the morning and I'm happy of where I am and who I become.
And do you never worry that they might come back to say you owe us?
Remember when we first got together, they were trying to come back. Remember, Solomon?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when I started going to the gym, when I first got Veli. Well, no, I was already going to the gym and stuff like that, but I started a new gym in the area that I live. And they used to follow me home in cars and stuff. I don't know why. Nothing ever came of it, did they? They just followed me home in cars.
To intimidate.
They threatened me, and that was about it. Intimidation, yeah, literally. That's just all it felt like. And if I doubt any of them were watching on TikTok, but I'm just not scared. I feel as if a big part of it is for you to go around looking behind your back. The reason why I have Tyson Fury tattooed on my arm and literally wear his merchandise and follow him so much is because he lives one day at a time.
Yeah.
And I'm exactly the same. I don't look past today, and I just focus on today only. If I were to die tomorrow, I'd die a happy man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I just don't regret things.
So, moving on to your adult diagnosis, tell us about it.
It was scary. I felt I was very, very scared. What?
Were you scared of the unknown?
I was scared of the unknown. I was scared because this is the thing, is when that day happened, the only person I told was Ellie. I didn't tell no one. I didn't tell my dad. I didn't tell my nan. I didn't tell my mum. I didn't tell my sister. I didn't tell no one.
What was my first word to you? I don't care.
Yeah, and then you told your mum. She was like, "Oh yeah, he doesn't have autism." But yeah, anyway.
I feel like judged, that people judge you.
Yeah. Mate, if I'm honest with you, I'm not gonna sit here and just be like, "Oh yeah, at the time I was so accepting of autism," because at the time I was very immature and didn't understand it. I just thought, I'm going to say this in the most respectful way because I'm trying to give you a detailed analysis of what was going through my brain. Basically, at the time, I thought if you were autistic, you were a retard, straight up. I'm not going to sit here and be like, no, everyone's accepted, and that's what I feel now because I've understood it, But back then, I just thought, Matt, you're a retard. You're not going to get anywhere in life. You're not going to do this. You're not going to do that. People aren't going to like you. People are going to look at you differently. People are going to laugh at you. And that's what I was scared of. And like even now, like driving around my local area, like people see me and like they'll shout like, "Oh, Arby, Arby," and stuff like that. And like if that would have been said to me 2 years ago, I would have been like, "Oh no!" But now I'm like, "Yeah," you know what I mean? Like I just play back because I don't care. And a big part of that is because of TikTok and because of Sarah and because of everyone on here, which has like accepted me
For you.
for me. You know what I mean?
Did it scare you when you got your diagnosis, and was you shocked? Because earlier
I wasn't shocked.
there were always some that were different, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah. I wasn't shocked, but at the same time, I didn't even know what it was. Do you know what I mean? I didn't understand anything of it. Like all my knowledge now comes from Sarah, but before that, I didn't understand one part of it. Like what's the best way to say it? Like,
Well, it's the thing. Well, Harley says, "Tell Harby that you're amazing." You don't. None of us understand it because we're not educated.
no,
We're
exactly.
not educated under the curriculum at school to understand a straight, narrow path of this is what you've got to do to get from here to the end of school, and then you leave school.
Yeah,
You move on. There's nothing that says right in life you're going to come across people with these. Why do they not teach once a week a disability lesson or once a month and get people? There's people amongst us that don't know they've got autism, but they have, and it has different traits. Or this person, you see somebody
yeah,
when you're a child, you see somebody in a wheelchair, and you think, why are they in a wheelchair? What's wrong with him? Have you been in an
yeah.
accident? You don't think you're born with these things. You just think must have been an accident. Him.
No,
And that's due to
yeah,
the fact that
no, definitely.
we're not educated, and education's key. And I think sometimes in schools we're educated in the wrong way.
No. I don't want to say there's not awareness of it because there is, and I think
There is now.
yeah, but at the same time, I don't think we should be pushing for awareness. I think we should be pushing for education on it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't feel as if I feel as if I could say this because I am. I don't feel as if there should be an autism awareness day. You know what I mean? Because I don't think that we should be spreading awareness. I think we should be spreading education on the problem of ignorance and arrogance. Because if there wasn't ignorance and arrogance, there would be no there'll be no issue. There'll be no problem. But spreading awareness of it, I don't feel as if that's
No, because you can make people aware that there are people out there that see things different, and you can make them aware of that. But that doesn't teach them to understand them.
No, exactly.
That's where the
Exactly.
education comes in. You've got to make people understand that. And I've got this, and I've spoke to Sarah many times, and other people, where I've said I was that person at Morrison's going, I wish she'd shut that fucking screaming kid up.
Yeah.
That's actually autism, and they've walked into Morrison's supermarket, and where the flowers used to be at the front of the store has changed to being fucking fruit and veg, and that's enough to set them off. Because while
Yeah.
I'm aware that autism is a thing, I'm not educated, and it only comes. The
No.
education actually only comes through people you speak to on a daily basis that are living.
No, exactly.
I believe that teachers sometimes turn a blind eye. Exactly. Yeah, I agree.
No, I agree. I do feel as if teachers are to blame for it as well because I remember so many times at school, like not even genuinely about me, but like people that had like some sort of behavioral problem, just they were punished. Like they would be put into like not even necessarily detention, what they call isolation, like for a week. They'd be sat there on their own for a week, you know?
And for an autistic child, that's enough for them to think, why is this happening to me? What have I done wrong? And like I say, for me, I've only learnt for autism through being on TikTok, and I have got family. Yeah, I agree with you there, Sarah. Teachers aren't to blame because there's no training given to them. So they're training. But it all comes under the bracket of the education system, where it's
Education.
the education system is wrong. Teachers aren't educated on how to treat and teach and help people with autism and people understand about other people with autism. I actually feel sorry for the teachers, because if they knew, and again, the education itself, it's set out for figures, and whenever you introduce those figures to me in any job, in any walk of life, then everything will always fail, because figures are only meant
exactly.
to make them up, basically. Teachers is key. Yeah, I think training for teachers is key. It's all down to funding. It's not a disability. It's a different ability. Absolutely. But how are you coping with it now, Arby? Have you totally come to terms with it, and you think this is me, and I'm going to live my life as I always?
Mate, I think I'm the best person in the world, mate, without even sounding big-headed, because I'm a big believer on self-belief and stuff like that. Because if we would have had this interview a week ago, I would have came on here and just been like, "Oh, everyone feels sorry for me," because I felt sorry for myself. But now I've just rejuvenated into what I was before, because I've been going through a real bad patch for the last 3-4 weeks. But I'm a big believer on self-belief and confidence, and coming from somebody with a different ability, that's very difficult, and I usually struggle with it. But the thing is I feel as if, because I was diagnosed at a later date, I feel as if I built up the tolerance and how can I explain it?
You're resilient to people now, aren't you, that want to judge you, basically.
But I don't have no fear of it at all. Whereas before, I cared, I genuinely cared. But now I'm just it's not even about acceptance. It's just about being myself. Do you know what I mean? I don't care about you. If you don't like me, then that's fine. I'm more than happy for you to press that unfollow button, press that block button. I don't care what you do.
So I've got a question for you, and nobody take this out of context, because this is not what it's about. But I want to know your view. If someone come up to you and said, "Oh, but you're autistic, you're a monk," what would your response to that person be? Would it be smack them in the face, or sit them down and say, "Let me educate you"?
Probably a bit of both.
I knew it. But the key to it is, and because this is what people are like that. And that word, I hate that word, so please don't think that I use that word, because I never would.
Yeah.
I've heard that word, and I've heard it said to people I know. And I would, if I heard someone say that to someone, my first response would be, "Oh, fucking smack you in gob." But the truth of the matter is, the best response is to say, "Let me educate you."
Yeah, that's what.
Beverly says, "Well, if he didn't smack him, I would." Serious question, because instantly you would be angered. But the best situation to diffuse it would be to go, let me educate you. Let me tell you why you're thinking like this.
I feel as if sometimes they my not necessarily because I'm not going to sit here and say I don't have anger problems, because that's where it all stems from, my anger, and I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't. But if someone were to come up about anything, I've got a lot of multicultural friends. If I heard any sort of any derogatory behavior towards anyone, I'd react the same. And depending on the scale of that, I remember one time at school,
Sarah.
the guy was called Chris, right? And what was it? I know he was James, right? Okay. Now I know the story. Yeah, basically, this guy called James Clough. He went to my school. Everyone thought he was a weirdo, right? I didn't. I liked him. I still keep in contact with him now. I'm not the greatest of friends with him, but I like to check up and make sure he's okay, because he does have different abilities.
And also,
I remember these kids pushed him into a corner, right, while we were on our lunch break, and this guy called Chris tried to hit him, and I was there. I had a tuna, what do they call them?
baguette.
No, it was sort of panini. I had a tuna panini in my mouth, and I just headbutted him straight away, because that was my first reaction, just to But that's what I mean. Like, I have these like impulsive, explosive moments where like I could talk to you like, hi Ben, how are you? And then if like one thing ticks me off, then I'm just like really on the offensive straight away.
That's it. They're coming for you.
That's it, mate. That's a regular occurrence around here. But yeah, like I've got a lot better now. But I think my first instinct when it comes to anything, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm perfect because I'm not. But my first instinct to anything is like violence or to get angry and to have a build up. Do you know what I mean?
Joe Murphy says, "Tell Arby I've got his back. Us Bristolians stick together."
Joe could tell you a few things about No West as well.
The thing is, with no one's perfect because we're all on a life
No.
one learning curve for the rest of our lives. And as for anger issues, we've all been there. Have you felt any? Have you felt any dealing mechanisms just for your anger itself?
Again, I'm drawing. You know.
But what about when you're in that?
Like I carry.
What about in the moment though, when you're like, I'm gonna fucking knock. Obviously, you don't just go right. I'm gonna knock you out. It's a lot more than that.
It usually happens if I'm genuinely honest with you. If someone ticked me off, am I allowed to tell him about my old work?
He has to ask his girlfriend for permission now. Everybody.
Right, basically, don't say where I worked with it. Right, okay. So basically, the last time that happened was of March. When was it? The first week, wasn't it?
Every day is a
Was it the first week? Yeah. The first week of March, right? I was at my place of work, and this is what I mean by like how it just gets explosive. Like, if I lose my temper, if I'm gonna hit you, then I'm gonna hit you. Like, I genuinely, I will try my best and hardest to try and calm myself down, which I've got better at. You can, you know what I mean? But I remember at work, my car failed the MOT, right? And as somebody with different abilities, I get very, very overwhelmed very, very quickly. So my car failed the MOT, and then all that was going around in my head was, oh, you got to pay £600 to get it fixed, blah blah blah, going around in my head constantly. And my boss came back and he said, Matt, you fat fuck, you haven't finished this. And I said, what do you say to me? Like that. And then he said it again. And then in that moment, because I was at work, there was an element of like, right, Matt, you need to be on your like best behavior. Like, no, like in the back of my head. So what I done was I literally walked through a fire exit, but like slammed the door, everything, and then this little Jack Russell looking bloke, right? I'm gonna call him that because he had a lot of bark but no bite. Followed me because I can't say their names because it was a legal issue. Followed me into one of our cupboards because we had a lot of like where our accessories are, like our painting tools and all that. And obviously I went in there and he followed me and he just continuously called me a fat cunt everything.
Yeah.
And the moment I lost my temper, he like took a step towards me, and I promise you, I'm not saying this in the thing of like I think I'm. In the whole of this, I told Ben at the start, right? I didn't want people to think that I'm a hard nut or like however to explain that. Like I think I'm the hardest person in the world, but
he does.
Like, but he stepped in my face, and I literally cannot stand that. From the years of going back to when I done all them things, like the last thing you would do is get into my face. So I pushed him into a plasterboard wall, and he like broke the wall basically as I pushed him into it. And then obviously where I couldn't control myself, I literally threw a punch at him, and my hand went through 2 plasterboard walls and came out the other side. And the only reason I got caught is because someone walked past and there was just an arm dangling out of the other side of the plasterboard, and I couldn't get it out. but that was another, like, that's what I mean by like the explosive sort of. I can go from like just like feeling overwhelmed, angry, or a bit anxious to like literally, mate, I'm gonna rip your head off. Do you know what I mean? And I can't sit here and say, oh yeah, I've learned coping mechanisms to do that, because if I'm honest with you, if obviously it's different when Ellie winds me up, because I'm not gonna go around trying to flip and hit a woman. Do you know what I mean? So it's like,
Headbutt me.
huh?
You know she'll knock you out.
Yeah, 100%. I've got bigger guns than her.
But like
100%.
it's good in the, because Ellie's like a very laid back person, so like she can calm me down. Whereas, yeah, that's why.
Someone who's high rate would just back with him, whereas I just
So-
shut up.
Yeah.
So you said you punched your arm and it was just hanging out. Dave Watson said it
Yeah.
wasn't his arm, was it, that were hanging out?
No, but like, can you imagine? He, right? I don't even care if I get in trouble, because it's been a year anyway, and no one's going to be watching on TikTok. He filed a legal thing with me, right, about assault, right, when he came into my face, right, and he lied throughout the whole thing, right? But there's one thing that I learned while working, and that is, if anyone's being mean to you or nasty to you, you make sure you've got evidence if anything ever goes off.
100%.
And I knew in the back of my head that one day it would come to blows. So I had video recordings, I had pictures of him, like he used to do like this thing where he used to write like fat mat on a piece of paper and put it on my chair, right? So I had pictures of that. I had a picture of like all the torment that he was putting me through. And he went into his meeting, and obviously they didn't have us in the same meeting at this point. And he came out like he had tears in his eyes, like he was like like that, yeah. And I went into the meeting, and they were like proper proper angry with me. You know what I mean? They were like as if I was some like dirt. And they were like, so that they started talking through, and I said, have you got anything to defend yourself? So they were like, you've tried to assault your boss, you pushed him, it like broke the plasterboard wall when I pushed him into it, and he didn't realise. So even when I came out the meeting, he was there going, oh, and people were like consoling him, like they were sat next to him consoling him, and they were like, Matthew, have you got any evidence like to back up your claims? And I said, yes, how many pieces of it was like 18 pieces of evidence. I had
a full book.
I had a full book of evidence of him tormenting me, right? And they thought I was going to get the sack. It was going to go further to the courts and stuff like that. And what actually happened was they seen all the evidence. They took him in, and they put what's the warning system? It goes verbal warning, written warning, and final warning. He got put straight on a third warning, right? On a final warning, and I didn't get nothing. And I tried to kill him.
But that's the thing, isn't it?
But that was, to be honest,
what's right and what's wrong.
Exactly, you know. But that was just me trying to say that, like,
you'd had enough.
I'd had enough, you know. And the thing is like, I can put up with slack, but if it ever like comes down to it, like, I'm just ready, you know. That's why I like have I'll show you the tattoo.
Me.
That's why I have this tattoo.
Who's that? Is that me?
Like, that's you up there.
Oh,
but the ring, I have this tattoo because it symbolizes that, like, if anything ever goes down, I'm ready to walk in my corner and defend it. Do you know what I mean? That's why I have that tattoo there.
Yes.
But yeah, I can't say that I wouldn't ever that I'm like the calmest person in the world, because I'm really not.
But would you
know?
get the advice of actually, instead of bottling it up till it gets to that point, actually get a little bit of evidence and just report it straight away and nip it in bud early on, rather than letting it build up to the fact? And I'm guilty of
I agree, but at the same time, it was like, I was just trying to go to. It's the same at any job that I've ever done, you know. I just go to work, I get paid, and I come home. That's all I care about, you know. someone has a problem with me in work, they have a problem with me in work. I don't take it home with me. I don't care, you know. But it was just getting to that stage, and when I was collecting the evidence, right, it was just building up and building up and building up. Because the thing is my idea was I wanted to get him sacked. Do you know what I mean? That was my full intention, was to get that bloke sacked. He didn't, and then I ended up getting made redundant. But the whole plan was to exploit him, because everyone felt sorry for him, because everyone there knew what I was like. I'd worked there for long enough for that to know what I was like, and they all felt sorry for him, and then they made me out as the bad person, and it just didn't work, and I got my own back.
It's just bullying, isn't it, really?
Exactly.
Bullying in the workplace.
Exactly.
You need to actually know that it does go on, and there is ways around it. Don't be bullied by your boss. Got some quick fire questions for you. Is there a style of drawing you like the most?
Cartoon realism.
Who?
Cartoon realism.
Oh,
portrait.
cartoon. Do you have a favourite artist?
Myself.
Other than yourself?
Yeah. It's a guy. He's from Bristol, actually. Jordan Hall Art. He is a fantastic artist, and since being on TikTok, I used to follow him on Facebook. Because he does what I do basically, but just ultra realism. That's why I like his style of art, and obviously my tattoo artist. I'm not like a big person on like Van Gogh or anything like that. Like that doesn't interest me. That's not what I see art as. I see art as a way of, how can I put it? Like, say if you were going on YouTube, right, and you liked Lamborghinis, right? You would only watch people that drive Lamborghinis.
Yeah.
You're not going to watch people that drive Fords. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I only look at art pieces that I enjoy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that would be Jordan Hall Art. If you guys in the live haven't checked him out, he's absolutely amazing.
Can you do a drawing of Wurzel Gummidge?
Oh, fuck right off. Who was that?
Or Murphy? At a young age, can you notice things that trigger your emotions first?
Oh, repeat the question.
At a young age, can you notice things that trigger your emotions? So when you're young,
it's just,
do you know that?
Oh, carry on.
When something happens, like, I don't know, your mum says no, you can't have 20p to go to shop, it always upsets you.
Well, as a kid, yeah, that is what like would upset me, because I was a kid, you know. But like, as a kid, nothing really fazed me apart from feeling injustice, or feeling like things weren't fair. That even to this day, that's what triggers me more than anything. I'm sure you and Sarah know that more than anything, that I cannot stand things being unfair or unjust.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't like people who are unfair and unjust.
Yeah. Did you have a passion subject when you was at high school?
English.
Really?
Yeah, I got an A.
At the age you're at now, do you know what triggers your emotions?
Again, just unjust. Same thing.
One piece of advice that would you give to the world?
Just don't care, you know? And even sometimes I struggle with not caring, but the best thing you could possibly do for yourself is not care. When I first started to draw, this is why I took so long to join. Where's my iPad?
But what you mean by not care is not care what people think you do.
Over there.
Yeah, so I'll show you what I mean.
Not like,
because, so, sorry, my ring light broke, so I'm literally having to hold you, right. So when I first started drawing, I found this in the archives. I drew Ellie, and I showed everyone, and they all laughed at me. So there's Ellie. There's Ellie, and that's the picture I drew of her.
Your first one.
Yeah, as you could see there, it's 5 months ago. You know,
that was even longer because that's a screenshot in there.
Oh, right. Okay, that was longer than 5 months ago. Yeah. People laughed at me. People said, "What's the point in doing art if you're not good at it?" Because I enjoy it, and I'm not going to listen to people that flip and tell me what I can and can't do. I do it because I enjoy it, and I tell you what, I'm going to get so good at it that you're going to want to draw in. And guess what? Them people that took the mick out of me are now in my DMs asking me to draw their mum and dad. No, but anyway, so I went from that to my most recent piece. Being this one. You can't really tell from the camera, but like, you know, like I've gone from drawing in like a 2D aspect to draw proper pictures, man. Like this is what I mean from like not caring, because if I would have cared, I would have stopped.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I would have just gave up. Just don't give up and don't care.
I know that's Ellie's mum.
Not supposed to show anyone yet.
Yeah, no one's meant to know yet.
It's for Mum's birthday.
Let me have a look at these questions here. Apart from drawing and Ellie, where did you focus at?
God, fucking hell.
Marrying Ellie.
Being happy and remaining happy, because I struggle to remain happy at a long period of time, if you know what I mean. So it takes a lot out of me to try and make myself like, I feel as if when you get older as well, you don't get excited for things, whereas like me personally, I always try and be excited about everything, and like that's what I work on the most, because I could have all the money in the world, I could have everything in the world, but if I'm not happy, then you know, that's what I feel like I have to work on more than anything.
What helped you accept your diagnosis?
Sarah. And so I was 20. It took 2 years for me to accept myself, and it wasn't until I met Sarah that I did.
Yeah. Sometimes criticism inspires you and pushes you to work harder for yourself. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Owning my own tattoo shop, Arby the artist.
And married to Ellie?
I'm married to Ellie with a kid.
Or 2?
No one screen record that though.
Are you screen recording?
No. No one screen recording.
What's your favourite picture you've ever drawn?
You like the Biggie Smalls one?
Yeah, I like the Biggie Smalls, but in terms of, I have 2, right? And one isn't a. I got 2, right? One of them isn't. I don't know if I can show it. It's not even that good, right? But it's what I wanted to do at the time. Like, I know if I drew that now, it would be like 10 times better. But this was one of my first ever iPad drawings of Tyson Fury. This is one of my favorite drawings I've ever done. It's not the best. There's like so much blockage, and that doesn't even look like him. But it's just like, so a drawing now can take me like, I don't know, but that took me like a week just because I wanted it perfect for like my skill set. But my second favorite drawing of all time is, I'm gonna have to show you it real quickly. That one. Genuinely, because I drew that. Why did I draw that? It's because people were saying that I didn't do my drawing, so I drew that.
That was your first viral video as well.
That was, yeah.
But it got taken down.
It got taken down for flipping bullying and harassment.
You know, like sometimes though, where you say, "Oh, I didn't like that drawing. I could have done it better," and that. Do you not see art as it should be seen, where everybody sees art in through different eyes? Because if you put 1,000 people in front of a picture that tells a story, 1,000 people see a different picture, a different story.
Yeah.
So the concept
I agree.
Different.
But the thing is, as an artist, the only way you improve is by finding flaws in your art. Well, I get loads of questions asking me, how did I get so good in such a short space of time? Is because I'm one of them people that is never content. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm never like, I always have to find something else. And the best thing about drawing is I literally started from not being able to draw at all. And then I figured how to do better line work, how to blend better, and like so on and so forth. And then, like, looking back at my earlier drawings, just like, they're not, they're shit. You know, that's like the first thing that goes around in my head. And the thing is like the Lawrence drawing, that took ages, right? Patch took ages. But I know if I drew the picture now, I think I would absolutely annihilate that picture. Like, I think it would look amazing, you know? But at the time, I was proud of that picture because that's what the best I could do at that point was. But I learn every single picture. I'll never draw in the same style from one picture to another. It would always be better than the other one because that's the only way I can progress.
Yeah. What piece of knowledge would you pass on to your kids?
Don't give up.
Simple.
That's the only thing that's like my motto, you know, never give up.
Never give up on a good thing. But where do you get your tattoos done now?
Where do I get my tattoos done now?
You don't have to tell them if you don't want.
I get them done by Tim Collins in Bristol, Bishopsworth. He is a portrait specialist. So like I had to beg him for Ellie's tattoo because she wanted a lion.
And he wanted to do a portrait.
And he wants to do portraits, basically. So if you want portrait, Tim's your guy. If you don't want portraits, Tim isn't your guy.
Yeah, okay. Do you take meds to help you sleep at night?
No. I sleep like a queen.
A queen. Where's the and he is feeling crap. I'm not
a king.
giving up. I'm not giving up. Is that true? You play a certain song when you start feeling that crap?
Yeah.
What's it called? Is it called I'm Not Giving Up? I'm Not Giving Up.
Yeah. That is, whenever I feel bad, right, I will sit there and just play I'm Not Giving Up. Hold on. For the people that don't know what that is, I'll just play. It's just the words in it. I will fight for you. And like, when I listen to the words, it's like I will fight for you. It's not like I'm not sure about the context of the song, but I see it in the light of I will fight for what I believe in, what I want. You know what I mean? Like, I take the song completely differently, and it always puts me in a good mood.
That's good. As a tattoo artist, where would be the worst place to have a tattoo?
Inner bicep or your ribs.
What about?
The pain is different in everyone.
Yeah, the pain is different in everyone, you know. But me personally, with my arm, it's not even finished because I couldn't take the pain. You know, I'm getting it finished on the 30th of June. You got to remember, Bet, have you got your inside of your bicep done?
No.
Oh, exactly. Look at me like that. Look how much detail. The thing is, right? A lot of people be like, "Oh, I've had the inner side of my bicep done. It don't hurt." They show me their tattoo, and it's like a flipping circle, right? Which took about 15 minutes. Mate, my tattoos take 9 hours, and they're just extremely detailed. Do you know what I mean? So you got to think he has a little tiny needle just scratching at the same spot over and over and over and over again. It hurts, mate.
Guys, don't listen to him. Tattoos, they like eating sweets. It's fantastic. What song do you, hang on, ask him what he says to Ellie. I know what he says to her. He says, I see pride. I see power. I see a badass.
I see a badass brother.
Won't take no crap for nobody once again. Tell me, Junior.
I love Cool Runnings.
The best. I've had my ribs done, my back done, my neck, base of my spine. Oof, nice. Is there anything you want to add, Arby, before we wrap it up?
20 to 10 already.
Bloody hell. I thought it was only an hour long.
Well, you don't stop talking, do you?
I feel as if I've said everything I had to say. But I just want to say that this experience, talking to people, talking to you, and getting like a foundation of what went on in my life that could possibly help someone else, that's been the best part about this.
How much do you love me? That's what I've been asked to ask you. I mean, it was Shell Show that said, ask him how much he loves me, but I'm taking it out. He's had a tattoo of me, look, guys. It's look even more like it. Do you love your big sister?
Very much.
What about me?
No.
Oh,
It's all right, Ellie. I'll marry you.
Hey, next week.
Ellie, I'm not having that. She went like that instead of that.
Oh, you're dumped now. Oh my God, what did you do then? She went like that.
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah, I do that.
My finger don't go down. My fingers go like that, see?
What, you fucking Spider-Man?
You know why she's done that, though, don't you? I'm not going into that. It's never an hour long on Mickey's Army. You make a family here, so stay longer. Absolutely. Is there anything you want to say to anybody?
Just a shout out to everyone. You know, it's not like I'm going to be like, oh, this person, that person, because it's every single person that is more than likely watching this has been a part of this entire journey over the course of the last 6 months, going into 7 months. So I'd just like to thank everyone, and just, this is the best thing that's ever occurred in my short lifespan, apart from Ellie. When you said that, she's going to beat me up.
Got to say Sarah.
Huh?
And what about Sarah as an individual? I'm digging her out on this one.
I'd marry her. Straight up. Sorry, Rick. Sorry, Ben.
Rick's right, though.
Sorry, Zach. Mate, I swear to God, I will. Right, Zach, I don't know if you're watching this or not, I will fight you for Sarah, my friend. That's it, mate. I've seen you two getting hella close together. I'm not having it, mate. Sarah's mine.
So, guys, for everyone that, and I am going to give a special shout out, and Sarah's been on our live. She's helped Arby incredibly. She's been an incredible person to help Arby, and to many other people that really just want to understand who they are, and understanding it, and supporting people in getting the right help from the authorities and Arby's for. So I know how much she's helped Arby. So for Sarah, it's a big shout out. And like Arby says, he wants to thank each and every one of you, and we will always be here for every single one of you.
Other hand.
She's not helped me with my free audit, and she won't. There's no free hoodies. Sarah's amazing, much love. Sarah's amazing, and she has helped many people, and Arby will be the first to say that.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Obviously, that's just a quick insight. We haven't went into too much detail because you can't go into too much detail. Because if you go into too much detail, you get banned. So, but I hope that's given everyone a little bit of an understanding that young lives, they're easily directed into the wrong place
and influenced.
And one thing I would say is, Arby touched on it, and I'm gonna just push a bit more out on when you see someone, and I seen a post the other day on TikTok, and it was like someone filming people who are clearly high on drugs and stuff. Don't judge that person because they're on drugs. Yeah, they might do things wrong. They might steal to pay them. But when you've lost a very close friend, and I have lost a very close friend to heroin, it makes you feel. It makes you change. I always used to use the terms smackhead and stuff and dirty, and actually don't judge someone until you've walked a mile in their shoes. Don't try and walk in their shoes until you've laced them. And Arby's story sort of tells you that as well, because as a young lad who was at school, turned to a gangland and ended up in nothing but shit, and then turned his life around. But that what happened before, you'll never forget. It'll always be a part of you.
Exactly.
But don't judge people. Don't judge people because of the past. Judge them on what they're doing now. Thank you for the gifts. So, Arby, if you want to turn your things back on, your comments, before we go, everyone can just jump over to Arby's side, give him a little bit of love, show him some love, and then we'll wrap it up. So, Arby, have you got your comments back on?
Definitely. Love you too, Shell.
Arby's side. So there's 22 in my side. It should say 0. Let's move over to Arby's side. If you're on my side, he's over there. If you're on his side, he's over there. Jump over. All 12 years. 12 left. Let's go. And let's have a little battle of who's loved the most. Everyone over that side, come on, guys. 10 people on.
Thank you, everyone.
Over. You've got 5.
Babylon. Oh my gosh, these comments are going really quick.
Show him the love, guys. Because, like he said, he didn't want to feel like he was going to be judged. So just go and show that he's not being judged. And actually, he's still. Some people can show me some love if you want. Zach's in bed. I wore him out last night. I bet you did, Joe. Well done, Ben. You're such an ease embrace. I just try and speak to everyone in the same manner. I'm not here to judge anybody. I'm here just to speak to people and make them feel at ease. Do you feel more at ease now? Because at the beginning you were like,
Yeah, mate, I was shitting myself on the way because I drove over to Wellies and then came over. And on the way back, I was like, oh my God, I'm absolutely terrified. Not terrified as in because, as you guys know me, I could talk for England. Thank you so much for the gifts. Oh my gosh, what was that? Thank you, Kyle. I could talk to a brick wall, you know what I mean? That's not what I was scared of. I was just scared of judgment, but everyone in here is just giving so many nice positive comments.
Well, that's the thing.
Really flipping lovely.
If someone was to judge you on the back of it, then they'd be blocked from the account because Mickey's Army isn't here to find out your story so you can be judged. It's here that your story might just help one person that might be stuck in that bad place. Like last week when we had Tash on, there were 2 people straight after that live actually went and messaged Tash and felt that they could go and open up and talk to the right people.
Oh, lovely.
And
I hope people. I know it's different because the thing is what you got to understand is like a viewership, really. You know what I mean? So like a lot of the viewers that are tuning in and stuff like that, a lot of them are women, and like especially the people that are in my lives usually are women. I don't know why it just is. You know, not saying they can't be affected by the same situations and scenarios, but even if you're a parent, this is me calling out on the parents here and trying to help. if you see warning signs or red flags, your kid's not telling you where he's going, or he's like lying about where he's going or who he's hanging around with, you really, really, really need to do your job as a parent. Don't feel like you're trying to push them away or anything. You need to just say, look, man, like, you need to tell me what you're doing because we worry about you, you know? And I feel like I never had that where people actually cared on what I was doing. So, like, just make sure you look after. You know what I mean? That's all I can say. And just keep in the loop, you know? Don't just act on warning signs, please. Please.
Basically, what you said there is like, make them feel loved and wanted at home, because that's what gang members do. They make you, they'll say to you, well, your mum and dad don't care. We'll always have your back. We'll take a bullet. We won't let you get in that bad position where someone's going to hurt you, because there's 100 of us. And that's what eventually gets you going,
Yeah.
I'm safe, I feel safe here.
It's not being an overprotective parent at all. No way. I can understand why at a young age you can think that, but in the long run, it's really, really not like that.
Yes, Vicky, I love you.
They might go against you, but that I'd rather my kid go against me than to go and do half the shit that I got up to, you know. And the thing is like we've spoke about what we spoke about, but there's so much more that I could say, but I can't say because of in fear of either getting my account banned or Mickey's Army banned, you know. So like there is so much stuff when I'm literally pleading with you to just, even if you feel that it's overprotective, you're being overprotective for the correct reasons. So it's just warning flags and red signs and like just knowing. My nan tells me a good saying, right? Show me who your friends are and I'll show you who you are. You know what I mean? So like, it's like she could tell what I'm getting up to just by looking at my friends. You know what I mean? And it's just like, woohoo! It's just one of them, you know?
Kat, you're welcome. Just a quick one, Matt. Are you happy for this to go on YouTube as well or not?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just we normally post them on YouTube afterwards within a week or something, so other people can have a listen and that. But obviously, sometimes people don't want it, and it's understandable.
Mate, if I could help just one person in this live, it's been a good day, you know?
Yeah. Cool. Right, well, I'm going to let you go to bed, Arby. I'm going to let all our viewers have a rest. Thanks for tonight. It's been good to get to know you even more than I already know you. I've seen bits of you that I shouldn't, but I've now... Sorry.
I appreciate it, mate.
Well,
I appreciate it.
and if you ever do need to talk, you know my inbox is always open. Sarah's is, and most importantly, Mickey's Armies is always here as well. And that goes for anybody.
Thank you. But yeah, thank you for having me on. Thank you for this experience, and take it steady.
And remember, guys, it's okay to talk, and talking does help.
Yeah. Even if you talk to yourself, because I talk to myself all the time, and it's not weird. Well, it is a bit weird when you're in the shop and you're like, oh, should I get these Maltesers for Graham or should I get these? And like people walking past and you're there literally having a conversation with yourself. That is when it becomes weird. But it's okay to have a conversation with yourself.
Because you'll always be able to understand what you're saying. When you said something.
Exactly. And no one will tell you that you're wrong.
Yeah.
You're talking to yourself.
Do you know what I mean, though? Don't you? You know what I mean? Where to yourself, you just go, yep, I get you.
Yeah. Everything makes sense, you know?
Exactly, right. I love you and leave you, Arby. Thank you very much, mate. Shaka.
Take it steady, buddy, all right?
Take it easy. Thank you very much, Arby. Bye,
See you later. Bye.
Night, night, Els.
Bye.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye, 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 bye.
Bye-bye.